So thank you everyone for joining us in this class. So today, you know, coincidentally or fortunately, that is a very good sync with whatever being done till now and with this continuation as Raghunath Puridas Prabhu was talking about Srila Prabhupada's intensity of the separation, what he's feeling from Vrindavan. And today also in the text number 7, we will talk about love in separation. So it is very difficult to talk about this verse because at least I know that I do not have love for Krishna and I cannot relate how that love in separation will be. But we'll try to see some of the things related to that so that we can implement in our sadhana level and we can improve our sadhana and we can progress in Krishna consciousness. So I'll try to do some little attempt based on whatever limited understanding I have about this verse. We will recite this verse together. Okay, so I'll come from 1 to 6, and when I come down to 7, whoever can recite this verse can recite along with me. Okay. Cheto भवमहादावाग्निर्वापणं श्रेयः कैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्तिस्तत्रार्पित नियमितः स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमिदृशं मिहाजनेनानुरागः तृणादपि सुनिचेन तरोरिव सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तनीयः सदा हरिः न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवताद्भक्तिर्हेतुकी त्वयि अयि नन्दतनुजा किङ्कर पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदरुद्धया गिरा पुलकैर्निचितं वपुः कदा तव नामग्रहणे भविष्यति युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रवृषायितं शून्यायितं
शून्यायितं जगत्
सर्वं
सर्वं
गोविन्दविरहेण
गोविन्दाविरहेण
मे.
मे.
So can someone read the translation?
My Lord Govinda. Can I, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Can I?
Yeah, anyone.
Sheila.
Anyone. Yeah.
My Lord Govinda, because of separation from you, I consider even a moment. Great millennium tears flow from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I see that
Entire
entire world is void.
as void. Okay.
As void.
Thank you, Mataji. So I'll keep everyone on mute. So this is a very important verse following the 6th verse. So my Lord Govinda, because of separation from you. So yugaitam nimishena. So nimeshena is like 1/12 of the moment. So if you take one moment, if you divide that by 12, then whatever time is there, that much time is also very difficult to survive. So, and how it is becoming? It is becoming yugaitam. So in general, like last week, we spoke about what is a yuga. Okay. So millennium Prabhupada has translated, but yuga can be a very, 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 very long time. Not like general what millennium we use in English. So that 1/12 of the moment is also becoming like a yuga. And chakshusha, from the eyes, pravrushayitam, torrents of rains are coming. And shunyaitam jagat sarvam, the whole world is looking as void. Why it is looking as void? Because Govinda virahena me. So separation from the Supreme Lord, separation from the Krishna, actually making all this feeling. So in the text 6, if we see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking about the time when I will start feeling the ecstatic symptoms in me. And in this verse, number 7, he's talking about what is happening in terms of that ecstatic stage. So, actually, love in separation is called as the summit of the love. That means in separation, whatever love we will have, that will be the peaks. So in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya also, we actually are more focused on the bhav of viraha, right? So we are separated from Krishna and we are longing for Krishna. So like we see every devotee, exalted devotee talks about how he is missing Krishna. So the point comes is why we have to learn about this verse today, or at least in this stage. So if given a choice, Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yeah, now you're audible, Prabhu.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji, yes.
So
We
I
lost
was
your.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll ask the same question again. So if the choice is given to all of you that how long you would like to be happy, so what option you'll choose? You want to be happy for an hour, you want to be happy for a day, or you want to happy eternally? Which one you'll choose?
Eternally,
Eternally.
Prabhuji.
Eternally.
Eternally, right? So one moment. Prabhu, can you make me spotlight?
Yeah, Prabhu, you are spotlighted, I think.
I'm
Yes.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, just let me. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So we all are choosing to be happy eternally, right? But we being as a soul can be happy only with Krishna. And as long as we don't feel the separation from Krishna intensely, we cannot affirm Krishna that we want to live with him eternally in spiritual world. So when we feel the intense separation, then that is the message we are giving to Krishna that we cannot live without you. And that's where we actually become, we reach to that stage where we can actually live with Krishna, because today we don't have love for Krishna. We are separated from Krishna, but we don't have that much love that where Krishna can take us back to spiritual world. So when we learn about what is love, what is loving Krishna, and what is love in separation, and how we can reach to that particular stage, we will be not able to reach to the spiritual world. So we need to know what is love and what is the love in separation and what are the ways we can develop that kind of feelings. So when we know this, we can rapidly and surely grow in Krishna consciousness and attain Krishna. So that is the reason, the purpose of this verse to learn is this, that we want to know all these things. So we'll try to cover up certain different things also so that we can understand this in a proper way. As far as our level is concerned, it is very difficult to understand the spiritual love with the material senses and material mind. But still, we'll try to have different examples and different concepts to understand this. So, if we see the Krishna consciousness process, if we consider the devotees, you already know that there are three features of the Lord. That is, it is Brahman, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Shabdate. So there are three features of the Supreme Lord: the impersonal form, that is Brahmajyoti, and the Paramatma feature, that is in our heart as a super soul, and there is Bhagavan, that is personal feature. So when we talk about devotees, they always long for the personal feature of Krishna. They know that Krishna is all pervasive, Krishna is everywhere. They know that Krishna is sitting in our heart also, but they want the association of Krishna personally. That is why the love in separation is not because they don't know that Krishna is everywhere, but because they want to have the association of Krishna in person. Okay, so we will talk about how this Yugaitam Nimishena and Shunyam Jagat, sorry, Yugayitam Nimishena Chakshusha Pravishayitam Shunyayitam Jagat Sarvam. So when Prabhupada is talking about the whole world as appearing as void, how it is void for devotees in the separation of Krishna, and how it is for the materialist. This is also we will try to learn. We'll also try to learn about what is purification. We have spoke a lot about what is purification and all. So we'll try to have a different definitions also today about what is purification, and we will also talk about how the desires will take place and how we can overcome these desires also. And how we can develop the desire to love Krishna and have such exalted feelings like separation from Krishna. And we will also talk about the role of separation in love. So we'll try to cover all this in a brief as much as possible. So there's a lot to be spoken about this verse, but I actually feeling very much less confident to talk about it, because there are many things which I could not be able to relate, but still I'll try. So we'll talk about the Lord Chaitanya's emotions about love in separation and why he is feeling this kind of separation. So when we actually love someone, okay, so we feel them or we miss them whenever they are not with us, okay. So this is something which we can easily relate. We have our children, we have our parents, we have our partners whom we love them. So when they are not around us, we actually miss them, and what we miss actually reflects what is important in our life. So sometimes we may say, this thing is important for me, this person is important for me, but actually whether that person or that thing is important or not, that we will come to know when that is not with us. Many times, what happens is, the children, when they grow up, they go to a distant place to study, and sometimes they don't call even their parents for 6 months or like that. So from that, what we can understand?
They might not be important.
Yeah, like, the affection is not there, because if they love their parents, how they can stay even without calling them for 6 months? And sometimes we can also talk about, like, I like Krishna, I love Krishna, I love the devotion, association of devotees and all. But when the association is not there, how much separation we are feeling, that actually reflects only when it is important for us. So when we have time, we are going to temple. When we have time, we are going in the association of devotees. If this thing is happening, then we might be only verbally saying that things are important to us, but not in the heart. So when we miss something, okay, that is very important for us, we actually cannot live. Like, when the devotees, when we talk about this exalted emotions, they cannot live separated from Krishna even for a moment. And the moment also looks like a very, very long time. So it is very difficult to understand how a devotee feels this separation, but we can try to relate with whatever knowledge and understanding we have about our near and dear ones. So when we talk about the devotees like Srila Prabhupada, he says, like, I have never felt separation from my spiritual master because I am following his instructions. And in another case, Prabhupada also talks about, like, in the Gaur Purnima festival in around 1965, when he was alone in the US. So that time he has written that, I am feeling separation from Vrindavan. Like in today Prabhuji's class also, we have heard that how Srila Prabhupada was feeling intense separation from Vrindavan. So separation means, what is that is, we are trying to bring our memories to make something which is not present as present. So this is little tricky to understand, but try at your best. So when we are in separation, what we are doing is, we are having something in absence. Okay, so something is in reality, it is absent, but through our memories, through our feelings, we are trying to make it present. So in sadhana bhakti, actually Krishna is not present as Bhagavan feature. Krishna is there in our heart. Okay, but through sadhana, what we are trying is, the Krishna is not there, but we are trying to invoke Krishna. So through chanting, through listening about Krishna, about his qualities, pastimes, and through devotees association, what we are trying to do is, we are trying to invoke his presence. So we will only invoke his presence only when we want to, right? So the want is also not there in our heart today, that I want to invoke the presence of Krishna, I need to feel the presence of Krishna, I want to be with the Krishna. This feeling is not there. But through sadhana bhakti, what we are doing is we are diligently practicing this. So when we diligently practice this, what will happen is over a period of time, we will have this feeling spontaneously. Like the exalted devotees, they need not put effort to miss Krishna. That is very spontaneous. But in sadhana bhakti, it is not spontaneous. We have to try. So in general, if we see, our material memories are very easy to recollect. We can have a collection of our sense gratification in a quick moment also, right? But to remember the moments where we had a good connection with Krishna, where we had a good spiritual experience, to get or to recollect those memories, we need to take a lot of effort, right? You might have actually had good experiences while chanting, you might have good experiences while doing darshan, or in the devotees association, or sometimes in the yatra. You might have a lot of memories, very good experiences also in devotional service, but those will not immediately come. You have to put effort. But when you talk about material things, it is very easy to recollect. For example, I'll say that if some of you love cricket, okay, so when you see a cricket player, you'll immediately remember which was the performance he had where the India has won, or which was the day or in the match where he got out for a duck and where he didn't perform. So immediately those memories will trigger. And if we see our favorite movie hero, then we will also remember the story of the movie and many other things about him. But when we talk about devotional things, when we think about a devotee or when we think about Krishna, it is not as easy as getting all those memories. So we have to conscientiously put our effort, and then we have to remember Krishna and we have to recollect our emotions. So when we actually do this, what will happen is our love for Krishna will slowly develop. Today, the difference between exalted devotees and us is that exalted devotees are also separated from Krishna. They are in the material world, they are not in the spiritual world, right? But these devotees have love for Krishna. In our case, we are separated from Krishna, but we don't have love for Krishna. So, why we do not have love for Krishna? Because we are too much materially contaminated. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Shunyayitam Jagat Sarvam, so we'll try to see how for a materialist, the Krishna is nothing without this world. And for a devotee, world is nothing for Krishna. I'll repeat. For a materialist, Krishna is nothing without the world. And for a devotee, world is nothing without Krishna. So we'll try to see this with the example of Duryodhana and Arjuna. Okay, so there is a pastime in in Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto where actually Arjuna comes back to Hastinapur from Dwarka. This is after the departure of Krishna, and Arjuna is very morose. Have you ever heard about this pastime? Anyone in the class? Except Raghunath Puridas Prabhu and Govardhan Prabhu?
No, Prabhuji.
No, okay. So what happens is Arjuna comes back to Hastinapur and he was very morose, right? The luster of his body has been lost. He was not in a proper mood. So Yudhishthira asked several questions like what happened, this happened or that happened. So whenever someone is morose, there are different actually incidents will happen or different things will happen. Because of that, one person becomes morose. So Yudhishthira Maharaj asked all that questions. And then in the end, Arjuna says that Lord Krishna has departed. And what happens is, in the meanwhile, when he was in Dwarka, there will be some people attack the princess of Dwarka, and Arjuna tries to save them, but he could not. So actually, Arjuna is a great warrior. He's a great fighter. So for him, as per his capacity, he could save them, but he was not able to save them. Why? There are different reasons also. But Arjuna represents that because Krishna was not there, because of that only I could not able to do anything. And when Krishna has departed, I feel this world as nothing. So there is a verse which says that, I'll just read out the verse. Yasya Krishna Viyogena Loko hi apriya darshanaha. So when Krishna has departed, this world looks apriya. This actually we can relate to us also. I thought of this example like when my son is not there at home, my mother and father feels lot of separation. Like, he used to do like this, he used to say like this and all. So, and they feel very bored at house. Can you relate to this experience? Like when someone is very loving person in our home, when he actually goes away, we don't feel like staying at home, right? We doesn't get the
Yes,
feeling,
Prabhu. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Yeah. So this is Apriya Darshana. That means that is the same house, that is the same environment, but doesn't look good because the person we love is not there. So similarly, Arjuna felt that, we love Krishna so much that he has departed. Now there is nothing to be there. So this is a feeling of a devotee. He always chooses Krishna over the world. So we'll try to understand this particular thing by taking the pastime of Duryodhana and Arjuna going to Sri Krishna for asking for an alliance before the war of Kurukshetra. So anybody heard about this pastime?
Yes, Prabhuji. I
Okay,
know.
so it's a very interesting pastime. So what
Yes,
happens is,
share.
yeah, so Krishna is in Dwarka and Duryodhana and Arjuna. So both are going to ask for the alliance because Krishna has an army of Narayani Sena that is called as Narayani Sena. And in the war, they will go to alliance and whoever is like accepting their proposal, so they'll be fighting on the person whom they agreed to. So if an army agrees to fight side by Duryodhana, then they will fight by Duryodhana. And some armies will fight with the Pandavas. So Duryodhana goes first actually to Krishna. Actually, both go in a almost similar time, but he reaches to Krishna first, and Krishna is sleeping. So what Duryodhana says, like, thinks, okay, let Krishna wake up. Till the time I will wait. So Duryodhana sits where Krishna's head is there. So there will be a seat. So Duryodhana will be sitting over there. And Arjuna will be coming little later and he sees Krishna is sleeping. So he waits at the feet of Krishna. So when Krishna wakes up, whom he will see, Arjuna or Duryodhana?
Arjuna.
Arjuna, right? So he says, oh, Arjuna, you have come. And then he sees around, Duryodhana is also there. So he says, oh, Duryodhana, you have also come. So, once again. So he says, yes, please let me know. How can I help you? So Duryodhana says, I came first, so I'll talk. So, but Krishna says, Arjuna came first. No, he says, I came first and I saw you sleeping, so I sat there. Arjuna came later. But Krishna says, I saw Arjuna first. And however, Arjuna is younger than you. So let him have the chance. So then both will say, we have come for the alliance and we want you to be on our side. So Krishna says, actually, I am related to both of you. So I have decided that I'll come as alone, as a non-combatant on the one side, and my army, the Narayani Sena, will fight with the other side. So that means one of you can have me and one of you can have the Narayani Sena. And who got the first chance to choose? Arjuna or Duryodhana?
Arjuna.
Duryodhana.
Prabhuji.
Arjuna.
Arjuna.
Arjuna. Because he is younger and Krishna saw him first. Now here, what happens is Duryodhana almost he feels like now I lost because Arjuna will choose the Narayani Sena and what will I do with this Krishna who is not even ready to lift a weapon. So I am lost the battle. So Arjuna very humbly says, Krishna, I want you. And at that moment, Duryodhana was like burst with the joy. In our life, some moments comes where we say yes, right? So that kind of moment came for Duryodhana and he was so happy inside, okay. But outside, he was very grave. So he looks at Krishna and he says, as Arjuna has taken you, I have to settle with this Narayani Sena. So it is so wonderful. He feels he goes back to the Kaurava camp and he says to Bhishma that I have got all the Narayani Sena, huge army, and we're gonna win this battle. And Bhishma says, what is the use of Narayani Sena without Narayan? You actually made a bad deal. So Duryodhana couldn't comprehend this. Like, I got the Sena, Krishna is actually not even lifting. So how can I count on him? So this is the way a materialist will think. He will see like, Krishna I want only if Krishna is ready to provide me what I want. But a devotee thinks that I want Krishna because I want Krishna. I don't want anything else than Krishna. Even when we chant, when we do devotional practices, some of the materialistic people will come and say, like, 2 hours you are chanting, how much money you are making, what improvement is happening in your life? Nothing, you are growing. So they will feel devotional service as a waste of time because they cannot see Krishna's presence. But a devotee knows that how important it is. So when we become too materialistic, perceiving God's role in our life becomes very, very difficult. When we are actually devoted, then only we'll see that in every moment God's hand is there, God's role is there. So here what is happening? Duryodhana is not able to comprehend that what he has made a bad deal. He thinks like he made a good deal. If we consider the Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 also, from the verse 4 to 11, he actually talks about different warriors in the both teams. He says to Dronacharya, like, in their team, we have Arjuna, they have Drishtadyumna, they have Virata. So actually Krishna is sitting on the chariot of Arjuna only. But Duryodhana didn't notice. He talks about all other names in his army and their army, but he doesn't consider Krishna because he thinks that, oh, he is a non-combatant, so he cannot be counted. So similarly, when we become too materialistic, what will happen is we will keep Krishna aside. So we will trade the powers and forces of Krishna with Krishna. So actually, as a devotee, what we should trade? We should actually give up what we have materially or what our wishes and desires, and we have to choose Krishna. But most of the times, because of our consciousness is contaminated, we will choose material desires only over Krishna. That is the reason chanting becomes difficult and doing devotional service becomes difficult, because our consciousness today now is more inclined towards our material desires, not towards Krishna. So when we know about Krishna, when we think about Krishna, when we start understanding these qualities and pastimes of Krishna, slowly we'll actually improve our love for Krishna. We will discover our love for Krishna. It is there inside the heart, but it is very much covered. So when we actually do all this process, what will happen? The uncovering will happen, and slowly we'll start seeing Krishna's role in our life at every moment. And when we see Krishna's role in our life every moment, we will start feeling separation. Today, if we come to know that how many times our parents have saved us from so many dangers, how many times they have actually given so many facilities otherwise we could not get. So slowly, when we grow, when we become matured, we will realize how much our parents have done. And sometimes we actually don't consider what our parents have done. We actually feel like, they have done their duty. But once we grow mature, then we will understand that they had a big role. And that time when they are not with us, we actually feel separation. So similarly, Krishna is doing a lot for us, right? For every breath that we are taking, every food that we are digesting, Krishna is there. So everywhere Krishna is there, but when we know that how Krishna is present and he's underlying all the things in our life, then we will start feeling the separation. So for the devotees like Lord Chaitanya or gopis, even a one moment of separation from Krishna is very difficult. It feels like yoga. But for us, we can easily live without Krishna. Why? Because we have not yet realized how important role Krishna is playing in our life every moment. So when we talk about purification in our life, purification can be have different definitions and different meanings. But this meaning which we would like to focus today is that purification means the change of default definition that we have for happiness. So today, our happiness means enjoying some good food, enjoying some party, maybe enjoying some movie or going with someone. So there are different kinds of definitions we have for happiness. Oh, if I get this job, I will be happy. If I make this much money, I'll be happy. If I pay off my debt, I'll be happy. If I just go to that holiday destination, I'll be happy. If I be with that person, I would be happy. So many definitions we have for happiness. So all these definitions today we have are related to our material thing, are related to this material world. But purification means we are started to changing our definitions for happiness. What we will say is, my happiness is when we have darshan. My happiness is there when I can see devotees association. My happiness is there when I chant the Lord's glory. Lord's holy names. My purification is, my happiness is there when I read scriptures. So today, all this happiness definitions are inclined towards material things. So when slowly we become purified, these all desires or the definitions of our happiness will get inclined to our spirituality. And then what will happen? Our consciousness will start slowly becoming spiritual. So when it becomes spiritual, what happens is it becomes very easy to recollect our spiritual memories. And when it becomes easy to recollect our spiritual memories, we will start feeling separation from Krishna. And when we start feeling separation from Krishna, we become more and more purified. And that will actually take us to a stage where Krishna feels like now he cannot live with me. So I'll take him to the spiritual world. So this is little about purification. Now, finally, we'll talk about the role of separation in love. So, separation to love is like wind for the fire. Okay. So, have you understood what I said? Separation is to love what wind is to fire. Okay. So, that means, suppose, have you seen any forest fire? So forest fire, if the wind comes, what will happen? It will get extinguished or it will get more? More, right? Have you seen candle?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if more wind comes, what will happen?
It'll put off.
So
Extinguish.
it will extinguish, right? So wind is important, but based on the amount of fire is there, either it will grow or it will extinguish. So similarly, the exalted devotees have love for Krishna like a forest fire. And in separation, that will grow. That is why we see different pastimes also in Ramayana, where Lord Ram and Sita are separated. There are different reasons which we will see in a materialistic way, but the actual reason is Krishna always want to have the love in separation. Okay, so in separation, the devotees' love will grow. And what happens with people like us is in our separation, the love goes down. That is why there is very important that we have to be in association. You know, we should not think like, okay, now I am associated with devotees, I have some love. So what I'll do is I'll get separated from them and the love will increase. So we should never think like that because our love is very little like a candle. So if we get separated, our love will get extinguished. That is why if you don't chant for 1 week or 1 month, it is very difficult to come back. Have you ever experienced? Anyone tried? Actually, I have experienced. In between, I was ill and I actually couldn't. Yeah, so it is very difficult to come back. So once you are in a proper momentum, it is okay. But once you are separated, if you're not going to temple for a month or if you're not getting devotees association for 2 months or 3 months, it is very, very difficult to come back. Because for us, separation works in a negative way. Because our exalted devotion is not yet awakened. We are at a very candle-like level. So that is why we have to have more and more association. We talk a lot about association, but this is the important point that when we are associated with people who are actually more attached to Krishna, what will happen is our attachment to Krishna will also increase. So most of the times we think our desires are linear, okay? But our desires are not only linear, but they are triangular also, okay? Have you ever heard this kind of term? So our desires not only awaken by seeing a sense object. For example, if someone is in America, I think Venkat Prabhu in America. Prabhu, can I ask you a question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So have you, how much is the fever of cricket in America compared to India?
Nothing.
Nothing, right? So if an American comes to India and if someone says, do you know cricket? He might say, yeah, cricket is an insect. You know, there is an insect called as cricket also. Okay.
Yes.
So he might not jump out and say about cricket. But what happens is if he stays in India for a year or so, and if he get associated with cricket fans, then he can also become a cricket fan over a period of time, right? So what is happening is, in general, when cricket is in front of an American, the desire has not come to see cricket, But because he was associated with one more other person who is attached to cricket, what happened? The desire to watch cricket also awakened in this person. So desire is not linear, but it has become a triangular also. So similarly, if someone sees alcohol, a boy sees an alcohol, he doesn't get a desire to drink. But what happens is, if he has an association who are alcoholic, if he goes into that association and if he says like, I don't drink, then he will say, the association will say, Are ye bachcha hai, doodh pita bachcha hai, right? The grown-ups will drink and you seems like a boy, so that is why you don't drink. So what will happen? Because that person wants their association and he knows that if I have to become an alcoholic, then only I can have this association. So what has happened is the desire to have alcohol is developed by the people who are attached to alcohol. Similarly, if we get attached to devotees, what will happen? They are attached to Krishna. So slowly our attachment to Krishna will increase. So how this association works? If you have a desire to chant more, so you have to get associated with people who are chanting very nicely, who have very much love for chanting. If you want to read scriptures, you have to get association of those people who are like loving scriptures, who always read scriptures. So similarly, if we see in our Raghunath Puridas Prabhu, so if you have a desire to have more information and more knowledge about Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit, then you should ask him. So similarly, this association can be specific and we can choose based upon what we want. And that's how the association works. That is why we should never be away from the association. Sometimes we may not feel so much of inspiration, so much of a relishing feeling in the classes or chanting or in the darshan or in anything spiritual. But we should keep continuing, because what is happening as of now is happening on a spiritual level, and our material senses sometimes cannot perceive that change. And because of that, we might feel your class was okay, chanting was okay, darshan was okay, nothing great about it. But sometimes we'll have, oh amazing, I have learned so many things from the class and I have actually had a wonderful darshan. So sometimes the feelings may manifest on a physical level, sometimes it may not. But what is the point we have to do? We have to keep having this association. We should keep doing all this devotional activities. Little separation also can create havoc in our life. So we should never give up chanting. We should never give up the association of devotees. And if we are continuing on this path sincerely, what will happen is one day we will also reach to a stage where we feel the separation from Krishna. And we will realize that without Krishna, nothing is there. All this world is existing, but actually without Krishna, this world is apriya darshanaha. So there is nothing great about this world without Krishna. If Krishna is there, even if it is a hell, it is okay. We see some of the exalted devotees' prayers that Krishna, I don't want liberation also. You can put me in hell also, that is fine. But you give me the consciousness of you. If I can serve you in any condition, in any planetary system, it is okay for me. But we want Krishna because we have some other desires which Krishna can fulfill. But the exalted devotees, they want Krishna because nothing else can satisfy them. So a devotee is always longing for Krishna's association. That is why we see in 10th canto also how gopis are feeling the separation from Krishna, how his parents, Nanda Maharaj and Yashodama, is feeling separation from Krishna, and how Kunti Maharani also says that, if you go, it is very difficult for us to live. So no one actually want to live without Krishna. Everyone wants the association of Krishna. So we have to reach to that exalted level, and then only we can be happy eternally. So we all want the happiness to stay with us eternally. But what is happening is it is becoming very momentary, because we are trying to find our happiness in material things. So when we do chanting, when we practice devotional service, we get the purification where our definitions of happiness will get changed, and then we'll start looking for happiness with Krishna and the things related to Krishna, and gradually we will develop our feelings and we will be able to recollect our feelings also. Because of that, even though Krishna is not present with us physically, we can still have his presence in his absence. And like that, slowly we'll grow, and gradually we will become, I don't say eligible, but at least enough eligible to consider that Krishna can consider us for fit for the spiritual world. So the reason why we have come back, because we have told Krishna that we can live without you. And here we came and we started living without Krishna so beautifully, so expertly, that today it is becoming very difficult to have association of Krishna. So this is little bit about what the 7th verse says, and we will have the summit of this unconditional love in the text 8. So this 6, 7, 8. So these 3 verses talks about exalted devotion in the spiritual consciousness. The first 5 were about the sadhana bhakti, and the 6, 7, 8 is about the higher levels of bhakti. So this is, I tried to share few things. If something has gone wrong or something has confused, then please forgive me and please ask me. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you very much.